Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the MJ Innocent podcast. My name is Moonwalker Tanya, and I am a proud Michael Jackson fan for 30 years. It's very hard to believe. It just seems like it doesn't seem real to me. You know, I'll never forget the first time I heard his music. My aunt picked me up from school because she was going to take me to Chuck E. Cheese, which was the only reason she picked me up from school. And we were listening to music in the car, and Dancing Machine was playing. I guess you could say that I was hooked instantly. There was something very unique about Michael's singing voice. And obviously at that time, I was a very small child, wasn't crazy about computers or anything like that, So I guess you could say for the first 20 years of being a fan, I knew Michael Jackson as the king of pop. I knew him through his music. I knew about some of his charity work. I heard about some of the propaganda. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff. I remember I would see him on covers of magazines, and they would try to pick at his plastic surgery or the false allegations, I was like, I didn't pay attention to that stuff because it wasn't important to me. What was important to me was his music, and I just wanted to know who Michael really was. And I was always hoping that he wasn't the typical celebrity that was like, oh, I love you guys, and then after the show I'd be like, oh, screw it. Thankfully he's not one of those. Because unfortunately we can't say that about all celebrities. Yeah. And of course, I didn't know about the 93 allegations until the trial in 2005. And like I mentioned in previous videos, I could not defend Michael back in 2005, not because I thought he was guilty, but because I wasn't crazy about the internet even as a teenager, and I didn't do research yet, so how could I do that? So I just thought to myself, I'll let the investigators do their job, and if there was anything for me to know about, then we would find out. And then when he was acquitted, I was like, all right, he's been accused twice. He's been acquitted. Leave him alone. It's that simple. And even till the day he died in 2009, I still saw him as the king of pop. I didn't pay attention to when the media tried to call him Wacko Jacko and all that other terrible things that they would say about him. I really gave no attention to it. Hard to believe, considering what I talk about now. Well, the truth is, I actually wasn't planning on doing research about the allegations. I thought, the FBI didn't find anything, so what is there to worry about? And of course, I knew about the misinformation people were giving out and stuff. I knew nothing was going to stop that, unfortunately. But then I thought, well, when You Know Who came out in 2013, that's when I knew I had to do research, because I knew that since Michael wasn't here anymore, I felt like, as being a fan for so long, I felt like I had like a duty to defend him in a way. As his fans, he was always protective of us, and he would have done anything for us. And so I feel like we owe him that too. But Michael doesn't owe us anything. Let me make that very clear. So I did my research for 7 years, And I guess you could say that I became a little bit more of a fanatic in 2013. I was paying attention to other things that were going on. And like I mentioned in previous videos that no longer exist, I mentioned that during the '05 trial, I remember when I watched Michael's message when he said, "Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen." I remember when I saw that, and remember I was a teenager at the time, and I thought, well, isn't everyone given a granted trial? I mean a fair trial? Yeah, that proves how naive I was at the time. But even though that trial was pure hell and it never should have happened in the first place, it did clear him of the 93 and '05 allegations. So in my personal opinion, other than the fact that I have to remake the allegation videos I deleted, I don't see the purpose in mentioning Jordan or Gavin ever again, to be honest. And the truth is, when Wade and James hopefully lose again, because in my opinion they do not have a case, that I hope that they'll never be mentioned again. And the truth is, I do pray one day that there will be a law in the U.S. to protect the dead, because Michael deserves to be protected, because in my opinion, it's sad enough that that the allegations ruined his life, and he didn't really receive justice when it came to his killer being convicted. But yeah, when I studied Michael, I learned about the man behind the music. He was a very gentle, sweet soul. He would have done anything for you. He wanted to help people, and we need more people like him in this world. We really do. And after I realized, how lonely and sad he was, and how he would always try to help others and not really put himself first, which I think he should have done after the trial, because I know what it's like to have my trust betrayed so many times that you begin to wonder, who can you trust? And some people may say, yeah, I'm saying this because I'm a fan, but to be honest with you, whenever adults would try to treat Michael like a ATM, the truth is, if you take away Michael's fame, his music, his money, his cars, his clothes, his homes and stuff like that, I would still love him, because I love Michael for Michael. He could even, I remember, some of my subscribers might remember this, because before I started my podcast, when Thon Lexi was defending Michael at the time, I told a few of my friends who are my subscribers that Michael could propose to me with a ring from a gumball machine, and I would still say yes. Now, am I Michael's type? I have no idea. But, well, I mean, I guess based on my dreams, I guess, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I would always be very protective of him, and I think that's what he needed. Like, I could always see myself, like, wanting to take care of him and protect him and be there for him, and especially with all the things that he went through, like, he just needed someone to be there for him. After everything he's done for this world, the only thing he wanted was to be accepted for who he was, but to love him as Michael Jackson, not the king of pop, but Michael Jackson as Michael Jackson. And I do, Michael. I do. And the truth is, I'm still devastated about what's going to happen next year with the pointless trial. But I hope it's a quick one. It's easily ripped apart like it has in the past, and it'll just be thrown out. Because the thing is, even though at least one person has tried to claim that my channel is making the allegations Michael's legacy, let me debunk that right now. That is not at all what I am doing. The media and the tabloids and the journalists are trying to make the allegations Michael's legacy. People like me and many others who have debunked the allegations and have roasted people for spreading the lies, we are the ones who are trying to undo the damage. Yes, I've been a fan for 30 years, but I wanted to be a defense lawyer. I'm also a survivor of sexual harassment and sexual assault. I know what it's like to... Well, I can't compare my childhood to Michael's, but I didn't necessarily have a normal childhood because of my disability. You know, like, do you remember when Michael would say that when he would sit outside of the recording studio, he would see kids playing at the playground, and he wanted to play with them? Well, when I was in gym class, I couldn't participate in the sports we were playing, because if I was hit in the head by like a basketball or a beach ball, volleyball, you know, there was a possibility that I could lose the rest of my vision. So I had to sit on the bleachers and watch my classmates play sports. So in that kind of a way, I understood. But I know I can't compare my childhood to Michael's, so I'm not saying that mine is exactly like his, not at all. The closest I ever had from having like a professional Hollywood career, I was actually in a TV commercial when I was a kid, but other than that, there was really nothing else. But the truth is, I am so thankful for Michael, not just because he gave us beautiful music, amazing short films, and just his knowledge and his speeches of inspiration and encouragement. But it was also because as I've been battling through depression and anxiety, if I would listen to his music, it would calm me down. I might be a little sad maybe an hour later, but there was something about his music that was always comforting. He really put his heart and soul into what he did. And I know I've said this before, Michael, but I really want to thank you for everything that you've done for this world. I know that the world did not deserve you. We lost you way too soon. But your legacy will live on forever. And to anyone who has been wanting to check out Michael's music and stuff, but, you know, it's the false information that's been holding you back, which I've heard a lot of people say, then, you know, just look at the factual information. Do not listen to the media. You know, don't pay attention to the tabloids. Don't pay attention to what the accusers say. You know, do not rely on Tom Sneddon. You know, it's just pay attention to the factual stuff. Check out the court documents, the FBI files, the pro-MJ channels, you know. But at the same time, though, you know, because the thing is, the anti-MJ people, they do not give our side a chance. And yeah, I have heard the accusers' sides. I watched parts of the mockumentary. I did not watch it in full because I do not have HBO, and I was not going to pay YouTube to watch it. But I saw enough clips of it, and I followed enough channels to know what was said in it and the facts that debunk it. Yeah, so I always say, you know, look into it first and just enjoy Michael's music. I'm thankful that children were not abused, but I'm also frustrated that the authorities basically abused their power, and then they were basically disappointed when they didn't find anything. Be happy that no one was harmed. And Michael, I just want you to know that I truly love you, and I miss you every day. And I am thankful that I have this opportunity to do this podcast where I cannot be silenced. I'm not afraid of the media trying to silence me, because they can't. Ooh, that's nice. I'm a grown woman. I can say that. Yeah, so I guess you could say that as I was studying Michael, and yeah, he made mistakes like everybody does, but as I learned more about him and learned so much about his soul, like, my heart was beating like 1 billion times a minute. I do not treat Michael like a god, let me make that very clear, because it does aggravate me when some fans do treat him like a god, because that's not right. The MJ community does need work, but I do hope that by sharing my knowledge and my experience and things like that, I hope that I can make some improvements to the community. But it will take time. And I know I'm not going to be able to completely fix it, but if I can at least help a few people and it can continue to grow, then I know that I've done my job. And I'm going to give another shout out to Andy Signor from Popcorn to Planet, who's going to cover the trial next year. He did ask me if I would give him some information he could use when he's covering the trial. I told him I'm more than happy to help him and even join him on his streams if he wants me to. Yeah. Oh, and on a side note, Andy, I am glad that you are recovering from your eye surgery very well. I was very worried about you just because I know what it's like. Yeah, and I told Andy about my disability and all the vision surgeries that my sister and I have gone through. It is a lot harder than people think it is. And the truth is, I want to say another big accomplishment that happened this year was not just becoming an MJ fan of 30 years, but little did I know that doing a podcast on YouTube for 2 years gave me the opportunity of being offered a job to be a professional podcaster in Vegas. Unfortunately, I had to turn the job down because they told me I would have to eventually move to Vegas, and I can't do that. But the truth is, the fact that it was offered to me is something I will never forget, and Michael, it's because of you, and I thank you for that. I'm proud of what I do to defend you. I also want to make more positive videos that are not allegation related. But I do believe that it is part of my purpose in life to defend you, because I'm tired of the misinformation being spread out there about you, because you don't deserve it. So, I guess as a closing, Michael, I love you. I really do. And I really wish you were still here with us, but I know you're in a better place. You've been healed, and I know you're watching over us. All I ask is for you not to worry. Just continue to rest and let us protect your legacy like you protected us. We love you. We miss you. And your heart will live on forever through us. We can feel your love even from up there in heaven. And to anyone who has lied on Michael, that basically shortened his life, you should be ashamed of yourself. But yeah, I feel so strong and brave to do what I do. And I don't regret it. Alright, you guys, tell me in the comments how long you've been a Michael Jackson fan. And just so you know, it doesn't matter if you've been a fan for one day or 30 years, 50 years, 70 years. Well, actually, no, not 70. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. 60 years, it doesn't matter. Why did I say 70? Anyway, sorry, I was in the moment there. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's even harder to believe that in 20 years I'll be a Michael Jackson fan for 50 years. And as amazing as that's going to be, I'm not in any rush. I'm sorry, I still can't stop thinking about the fact that I said 70 when Michael would only be in 65 this year. That's what happens when you're in the moment, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know sometimes when I'm filming these videos. But yeah, other than that one little hiccup there, I think this is a great episode. I'm very proud of what I do, and I'm glad that you guys are on this journey with me. I'm glad you guys enjoy my videos, and I also appreciate the suggestions for videos that you guys want. And yeah, let's continue doing what we're doing, and let's keep Michael's legacy alive. All right. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and I will see you later. See you in the comments.